So fold your blanket over however you want to. Put it up towards the top of your mat. And we're gonna come all the way down. So go ahead and lay down and take a couple of breaths in. I'm just gonna speak over you for a second. So today we're gonna focus on just letting go. That's the theme. We'll keep it really simple. We're gonna let go today. And so whatever it is that you're holding on to, maybe you're holding on to some anxiety, right? Maybe there's some story that you've written in your head that it's just, the script is going on and on and on. So we're just gonna let it go, right? So let's go ahead and come all the way down. Shavasana pose means corpse pose, but it's also a great way to start and end the yoga practice. Your palms are gonna face up. Your feet are just gonna gently relax towards the ground. Let gravity just pull everything down, right? At this point, you don't have to do anything, think about anything, although I'm sure there's probably a lot going through your mind, right? So let's start practicing our let go mantra. So as you inhale, in your mind say let, and as you exhale, say go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Let's do that a couple more times. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. One more time. Big inhale, let. Exhale, go. Let it go. So lick your lips to seal them. Continue breathing here. And just slowly start scanning through the top of your head, down all of your body, all the body parts, just to kind of feel and acknowledge what's happening there. What's going on with your hands? What's going on with the shoulders? How does the back feel? Your tummy, your heart, your low back, your hips, your knees, the joints. How does it all feel? What's it communicating to you? Is there anything that just doesn't feel like it's relaxed? What would it feel like for you to soften that body part? What would it feel like for you to let go of any tension that was there? Can you allow your mind to imagine what that would feel like? And then try to make that a reality. How can you let go of any tension that you have in your body? Right? Let's take a couple more breaths here. Letting go of any tension. Go ahead and wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, maybe roll your ankles out, roll the wrists out. Inhale your hands up overhead, point those toes, big morning stretch. Exhale, walk your ankles to the left side of your mat and your wrist to the left side of your mat. Just a side stretch here. To one side. Allowing this right side body to open up, breathing into these ribs here. And switch sides, so the ankles are going to walk over to the right side, wrists to the right side, breathe in. Expanding that left side body. Couple more breaths. And then coming back to center, neutral. Bring your knees up to your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. And then just roll side to side, massaging out the low back. This should feel great. Maybe grabbing onto the outsides of your feet for happy baby. So we're pulling our knees into our kneecaps here. Rock side to side. Allow yourself to continue to relax and just think about, even in these poses, right? What can we soften? What can we let go of? Bring your knees into your chest. We're going to bring our hands out to a T and bring your knees down to the right or to the left. And then you're going to look the opposite direction. So we're here in easy supine twist. And if you want, you can take this top leg and cross it underneath the bottom to intensify the supine twist. So supine twist, you really want to try to, as you inhale, maybe lengthen a little bit, and then as you exhale, see if you can deepen that twist. We're kind of wringing out the spine. And by doing that, we're actually bringing in more movement, more blood, moving around the fascia, moving around the tendons. Go ahead and remove, if you have some extra twist here, go ahead and untuck your knees, bring them up through center, lower them on the left side, and then look over to the opposite. Same thing here. If you want to take the top foot, cross it underneath the bottom foot, feel free. So here again, thinking about as we lengthen, we inhale, we find a little bit of length through the crown of our head, and then as you exhale, maybe a little bit more depth. Can you get this right shoulder down to the mat? In the beginning in yoga, we like to move the spine around before we start really doing any other stretches, because the spine is the center, right? The everything of your body. And so moving the spine around gets all the blood to all the places. And so that's why we did some side bends, and now we're working on our supine twists. One more breath here. Beautiful. If you have your knee tucked, go ahead and uncross it, untuck it. Bring your knees up through center. Nice big squeeze. Again, just walking side to side, taking it slow. Nothing too crazy here. Go ahead and roll over to the right or to the left and gently push yourself up. We're gonna come to a tabletop position. And so with your blanket, if you have a mat on top of a hardwood floor, I tend to find that that's really hard on my knees. So you can put that blanket underneath your knees, and you can have more elevation, right, for more cushion or less, up to you. But just to make it really comfortable here. So in tabletop position, our wrists are underneath our shoulders, our knees are underneath the hips. But then one other thing that I want you to think about is the abs, right? So in a neutral tabletop, someone says get in the tabletop, and you're usually like, okay, cool. You can see already my spine went down a little bit. Instead, think about bringing that belly button up and in, right? So that there should be a little bit of a rounding in the low back. And when we engage our abs this way, we're actually engaging the transverse abdominal abs, the TA. Super beneficial, because this is what holds up our entire body. Right, so let's engage our abs, up and in. Take a breath and gently open up your chest. So we're not dropping the belly. In fact, we're opening up our chest while still engaging our abs. You should still feel a nice stretch here through the abdominals, through the chest, but our abs are engaged, so we're protecting our low spine. Exhale, gently round out your shoulders. You're gonna look back towards your thighs. And push into the shoulder blades. So really exaggerate here. How far can you push the floor away from you, right? Really pushing into it. Maybe swaying side to side here, seeing how that feels. Take a breath in, gently come back to neutral spine. From neutral, take a breath in. Exhale, abs go up and in. Take another breath in. And then open your chest up to the ceiling, to the sky. Look up, exhale. We're gonna round out our shoulders, look back towards the thighs. Really exaggerate here. And again, swaying side to side. That feels good. And so we're gonna do another round of cat-cow, but this time incorporate what your body needs. What do you need today? So coming back to a neutral tabletop, take a breath in as you exhale. Belly button goes up and in. And now opening our chest up to the sky. What kind of things does your body need here? Do you need to move your hips around? Exhale, look back towards your thighs. Take the next couple of breaths here. So maybe if it's another round of cat-cow, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, again, what does your body need? Right, in the beginning, we kind of did an observation of what our body was holding on to. Is there some tension? Maybe in your hips, maybe some side to side movement. Maybe you want to do nice big hip circles. What is it that your body is craving for, right? Beautiful. And whenever you're ready, we're going to come back to this neutral tabletop position. So we're going to do just a little bit of core work here. And then we're going to continue on with our let go practice. So if your wrists are kind of hurting, maybe shake them out. Back to our neutral tabletop position. Take a breath in. Exhaling, we're engaging our abs. Belly button goes up and in. So you should really feel your core on fire here. Push the floor away from you. So don't allow your head to sink down. Push the floor away. Abs are engaged. Take a breath in. Now imagine the right knee is rooting down, placing roots straight down through the floor. And see if you can get the left knee to hover. Okay, so we're hovering here. If that feels good and you're like, okay, cool, what's next? Okay, if you want to do next, go ahead and extend that foot out. Now as you're extending out, sometimes my foot has a tendency to go here, right? And this is a huge exaggeration, but your hips want to do that. So can you tilt those hips down? Can you imagine you have headlamps on both your hips and they're pointing down towards the mat? And sometimes when you're like, oh, my headlamps, gotta turn them on. Great, you got your headlamps on. Now, are your abs still engaged? Up and in. There should be a little tiny rounding or straightening out of the lower spine. And then shoulders are away from the ears. We're still holding here. Your ankle or your toes can be neutral. You don't need to point or flex, just neutral. Holding it up. Now root down through the left hand. You're growing roots all the way down. See if the right hand can hover. And then up and all the way out. This is called bird dog. We're here for a few more breaths. Where are your headlamps at? Are they facing the mat? Are the shoulders away from the ears? Is the core engaged up and in? Straight spine, looking down at the mat. Isometric holds are very, very good because they create, like if you're shaking a little bit, that's even better. You're creating a little bit of instability, causing all the little muscles to start engaging and supporting you. Take a breath in, exhale, bring it all down. Sit back. Let's shake those wrists out. Beautiful. In fact, let's just stay here for a quick second. So I'm just seated on my thighs here. Inhale your hands up. Bring the left hand down, right hand up overhead. Just a quick side body stretch here. Inhale, switch sides. Okay, back to center. Let's come back to our isometric hold, so we're back in a tabletop. Now, if this is bothering your wrist, you have a couple of options here. You can go to your fists. You can go onto your tippy fingers, like tenting your fingertips. And if you want, you can even go down to your forearms, right? So you can definitely continue to get a core workout here. Otherwise, you can stay on your wrist, whatever's comfortable for you. So take a breath in, exhale. We're engaging the core. Belly button goes up and in. The left knee is rooting down. Can you lift your right knee? Does it want to come up? Right? Imagine you have headlamps on your hips. Can you keep those headlamps straight? Not adjusting anything as that leg straightens. Stay here for a few breaths. The ankle can be relaxed. The shoulders are away from the ears. Belly button up and in. Headlamp straight down. If you find that you got right here, you're comfortable here, extend out the left hand. So when we extend out the left hand, sometimes you'll find that your back kind of wants to dip. Engage those abs. Draw the belly button in. We're creating one long line from the tips of our fingers down to the toes. Find breath here. Don't forget to breathe. Unclench your jaw. Ooh, one more breath. Exhale, release. Beautiful. Let's sit back. Shake out our wrists. Inhale your hands up overhead. Exhale, left hand comes down, right hand comes up overhead. Inhale, switch sides. Beautiful. We're going to come back to our neutral tabletop. Spread your knees out wide and sit back to child's pose. So in child's pose, we're going to bring our forehead all the way down to the mat. Hands come out in front. And just allow your forehead to melt to the floor. So having pressure on your forehead is really great. It activates the parasympathetic system, meaning it decreases activity in the nervous system. So it helps you relax, it helps you to calm down. And so maybe roll your forehead around side to side. Find some movement here. Maybe sway your hips side to side. Very subtle movements. Take a breath in, coming up through tabletop. Place some weight into the right hand. Inhale the left hand up and overhead. Nice big shoulder opener. Now as you place your hand down, go ahead and sit back down to child's pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, coming back up to tabletop. Right hand comes up and over, big shoulder circle. And sit back down. So we're going to do this a few times here. Find some rhythm with your breath. What feels right to you? Right, so kind of doing some really simple, repetitive movements helps not only get your body up and moving, right? It also helps the mind to calm down. It gives your mind something to focus on. You know exactly what's happening next. There's nothing to worry about. You know that after you do your arm circle, you're gonna sit back down in child's pose, take a breath in, and then come back up, and then do another hand circle. And you're continuing to move forward. So whatever that scenario, whatever that thing is in your mind, that script that you can't seem to let go of, you can. Because as you're doing this, you're still moving forward, right? So even though we're doing the repetitive motion here, we're moving our body forward. We're moving our mind forward. Do a couple more rounds here. So here we're on the left side. Come down. Finishing up the right. Beautiful. And sit all the way down to child's pose. Take a breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale to let, exhale to go. Inhale, let, Exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Take another breath in. Coming up onto your knees. So again, we're going to use that blanket underneath our knees. And you're going to bring the right foot out. So here in a 90-degree angle. Maybe walk that foot up a little bit, right? So your knee isn't directly over your ankle. So take a breath in, lift those hands up. Exhale, bring your hands down to heart center and melt down. So opening up this left hip flexor. Engage your abs, bring them up and in. And so it's totally possible to go ahead and sink, right? But I feel like that would hyperextend this hip flexor. So bring yourself back a little bit. Engage your core, bring yourself back. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, sinking back down, allowing that hip flexor to stretch out. Inhale, hands up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale. Just a few more here. Again, slow, repetitive movements. You know exactly what's coming next. We're inhaling up. Exhale, bending that knee. More of a stretch here. Don't forget to breathe here. Big breaths. Remember that yoga is a mind-body-breath connection. It's the great thing about yoga. It's one of the few exercises that benefits not just the physical body, but the subtle body, the mind, the breath. Last time here, big breath in. And bring your hands to your hips. Oop. Go ahead and flex those toes. So now we're going to bring our hands down to the floor for half splits. And if you're more comfortable, you can bring it out more or bring it in, whatever. It's up to you. So we're just going to find some stillness here. You can round your spine out, you can straighten it, up to you. But I would definitely have the toes flexed. So notice how we're going from a consistent movement to a pause. Consistent movement to a pause, right? And think about maybe how your mind does that too, right? Sometimes our mind is in complete overload and just will not, not calm down. And then sometimes if you let go, right, it can just be still for a little bit. Beautiful. Gently bring your knee back and coming to a tabletop position. Spread the knees out wide. Sit down in child's pose. Just for a second here. Big breath in, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. One more time. Inhale in, let. Open mouth, exhale, go. Walk your hands back, come on up to your knees. We're now going to work on the left foot, so bring that left foot out. Maybe walk your toes up a bit so that our knee isn't directly over our ankle, so we have some leverage to move. So inhale your hands up, exhale, hands to heart center, sink forward. Inhale up. Exhale, sink forward. Engage your abs here. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if I'm being completely honest with you, I am not counting how many we're doing here. I'm just kind of going to when it feels right to stop. And so for you, if this feels like it's too much, then just stop. Or if you feel like there's not enough, keep going. This is your practice. If your body needs something that I'm not cueing, go ahead and do it yourself. One more time, big inhale. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bring your hands down to your hips. We're gonna flex the toes back at you. Get comfortable here. Bring your hands down to the floor for half splits. So we're gonna find some stillness here. Now if you find that this is really intense on your hamstrings, if you have blocks or books, you can put them right here to bring the floor up to you. Otherwise, we're gonna stay right here for a few counts. Bring yourself back to the breath. Keep breathing through that comfort, breathing through the stretch. And go ahead and bring your foot underneath you. From this tabletop position, we're widening our knees. Take a breath in, sit back down. Bringing pressure onto that forehead. Rock your forehead side to side. Beautiful. So let's come back through tabletop. Place your hands, one hand print above where they are. Curl your back toes, lift your knees, push back, downward facing dog. Maybe walk your dog out, bend one knee, bend the other knee. Now, let's go ahead and move that blanket out of the way. We're gonna need some mat space here. So looking back at your toes, start walking your hands back towards your toes. The slower you go, the more hamstring stretch you'll get. Take a breath in, place your hands on your shins or on your upper thighs. Stretch out your back, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale your hands up all the way to the sky. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Inhale your hands up. Actually, let me pause here for a second. So here in Chicago at 8:30, we do something, a thank you for appreciation for all the first responders, all the medical staff, the grocery workers, anyone who's working during coronavirus. So thank you guys. So if you hear air horns, that's what that is. So thank you, and let's keep going. Inhale your hands up to the sky. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Bring your hands down to your shins, straighten out the spine. Exhale, release. And start walking your hands back out until you hit downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, bend one knee, bend the other knee, and slowly come down to child's pose. Take a breath in, open mouth, exhale. Coming back up through tabletop. Place your hands, one hand print above where they are. Curl your toes, push back, downward facing dog. Bend one knee, bend the other knee. Look back towards your toes. Start walking your hands back. The slower you go, the more hamstring you'll get. More hamstring stretch. Take a breath in. Place your hands on your shins or your thighs. Straighten out the spine. Halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, hands come all the way up. Exhale your hands down to heart center. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive down. Place your hands on your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk your hands out, downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Exhale, coming down to child's pose. Take a breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Coming up through tabletop. So you kind of know the sequence that we're doing now, right? Place your hands one hand print above where they are. Push back, downward facing dog. Look back, walk your hands backwards. So we're gonna do this a few more times. And if you want to incorporate something else, halfway lift right here. Something else that your body is needing, maybe like a side bend. Inhale, come all the way up. Or back bend, whatever you need. Feel free to include it. Exhale, your hands on heart center. Inhale, your hands come up. And swan dive down. Place your hands on your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, walking the hands back out. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. Exhale, lower your knees down. Sit back down, child's pose. We're going to take a breath in, breath out. Through tabletop, coming back to downward facing dog. Push back. Walk your hands back. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale your hands up. Exhale, swan dive down. Place your hands on your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk those hands back out. Big breath in. Exhale, child's pose. We're going to do this one more time. So if there's anything that you need to include, feel free. Take a breath in. Open up, exhale. Inhale, coming back through tabletop to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back. Inhale, place your hands on your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale your hands up. Swan dive down. Inhale, place your hands on your shins, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Walk your hands back out. Big breath in. Exhale, coming down to our knees, child's pose. Big breath in, big breath out. Exhale, release. Let's go ahead and find ourselves in a crocodile pose. So we're gonna move through tabletop. Bring your hips down to the floor. And you're gonna place one hand down and then the other. And your forehead's gonna rest on top of your forearms. Right, so whatever way is comfortable for you. Tops of the feet are on the floor. Everything is on the floor. And so here in crocodile pose, it's a really simple pose, but I find it to be so effective. I want you to keep breathing here. Especially on your exhale, can you hear how your breath is creating a cocoon of sound around you, right? Maybe something like the ocean. If you constrict the back of your throat just a little bit on the exhale, it might sound like waves of the ocean here. So let that sound just surround you as you're breathing here in crocodile. In your own little space. And this is your private space, right? You're surrounding yourself with sound, you're surrounding yourself with love. Is there something here that's not needed? Is there something in this space that you need to let go of? Right? You have created the space with your breath and with your hands. So you can definitely take out things that don't belong. So continuing to stay here in crocodile pose. A few more breaths. Gently go ahead and lift your forehead up and bring your hands out in front of you or to the sides, whatever your preference. If out to the sides, have your palms facing up. Your forehead is coming flat down on the mat. Take a breath in, and as you exhale, lift your forehead and chest off the mat. Lift the hands up and the feet. So we're here in full locust pose. Take a breath in. Stay here for a few. So we did some core engagement in the beginning of class, right, with bird dog. Now we're engaging our back muscles, all of them all at once. Pinch those shoulder blades together. Exhale, release. The right cheek is going to come to the mat. Bend the knees, windshield wiper your feet to release that low back. We're going to do this a few more times, building up some strength in our back. Lower your feet down. Bring the forehead flat on the mat. Take a breath in. Inhale, lift your forehead, chest, hands, thighs off the mat. Pinch the shoulder blades together. The shoulders come away from the ears. Imagine you're skydiving. If you've ever done skydiving, they do this pose a lot. If you're afraid of heights, don't imagine you're skydiving. Don't do it. I did it once and I actually really liked it. It was really fun. Take a breath in, exhale. The right cheek comes down to the mat. Bend the knees, windshield wiper your feet. Beautiful. Place your hands on the mat. Push up all the way back down to downward facing dog. Allow yourself some time to stretch that spine out. You bend one knee, bend the other knee. Inhale, the right leg up to the sky. Exhale, bring it all the way through for half pigeon. That back foot is going straight behind us. And if you have your blanket nice and handy, so this is kind of how you can use it. So if you find that your hip is going like this, right? Now you see too much of my back. It's because I'm putting too much weight in my left hip. You can use a blanket to place it underneath your hip for some elevation. Because we want our hips to be parallel to the front of the mat, right? And so if you're ready, back leg is straight, hip is parallel to the front of the mat, coming down to your elbows. And we're here in half pigeon for a couple of breaths. So here in pigeon, just again, the mind might wander. Can you bring it back to the mat? What if you allowed yourself to just relax here for a minute? Allow your facial muscles to just soften. If you have tension in your jawline, maybe move it around, right? Or bring it up. Maybe a nice big yawn. Few more breaths here. Place your hands on the mat. Straighten out your body. Curl the back toes. Push back to three-legged dog. Bend the knee behind you. Shake it out. And bring it back down. Downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Bring it all the way through. So again, adjust that blanket as needed underneath the hip. So keeping that back leg straight behind us. I'm elevating my right hip so that they're straight and parallel to the front of my mat. Scoot myself back a little bit. And when you're ready, come on down to your forearms. All the way down to the floor, whatever's comfortable for you. We're gonna be here for a few breaths again. So just allowing our hips, our glutes to open up. Give yourself the space to just relax here, to let your body soften. Bring yourself back to the breath. Can you deepen the breath? Can you make it a really long inhale? And can you make your exhale even longer? Go ahead and place your hands on the mat. Curl your back toes. Lift your knee up. Push back. Three-legged dog. Bend the knee behind you. Maybe shake it out. Bring the knee back down. One last time in downward facing dog. Exhale. Bring yourself down to your knees. So we're going to use this blanket here as support when we lay back down. So I have the blanket kind of really long, like so. I'm going to use it underneath my chest. So it should hopefully come right underneath your shoulder blades. Go ahead and lower yourself down. There we go. Yes, okay. So adjust as needed. So we're trying to get it directly kind of under our chest. So it should be just a passive chest opener here. So first let's plant our feet on the floor. And we'll do a couple of bridge poses here. And then we'll really allow this pose to take some action. So place your hands by the side body, take a breath in, press through the feet. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, gently come down. Inhale, come on up, roll the hips up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press through the feet, come up. Exhale, lower. One more time here. Press through the feet, come on up. Exhale, lower. Move your knees side to side. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and bring the soles of our feet together. So you're opening up your knees in like a butterfly pose here. And you can place your hands on your heart, your belly, your chest, or out to the side. We're gonna be here for a few breaths, just very passively opening up our hips, our inner thighs, and our chest. Finding some stillness here. Allowing yourself to soften. If you find that your mind is wandering, coming back to our mantra. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. Inhale, let. Open mouth, exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. A few more breaths here. Gently bring your knees back together. Beautiful. Go ahead and roll to one or the other side. Move that blanket away. Or bring your back down. And just stay here with the feet flat on the floor, knees bent. And just acknowledge what's the feeling that you're feeling. Does your heart feel a little more open? Almost like an effervescent, like inhale, like you really want to take some breath in, right? Do your inner thighs feel like they've been a little stretched out? And maybe they have, maybe they haven't, and that's okay. Just acknowledging whatever that feeling is. We're just neutralizing our spine from that flexion that we did. Go ahead and bring your knees up into your chest. Rock side to side. We're going to bookend our practice exactly the way that we started. Grab onto the outsides of your feet for happy baby. Bring the knees into your chest. Rock side to side. Bring your knees into your chest. Bring your hands out to a T. Lower your knees to the left or to the right. Look to the opposite way. We're here in supine twist. Again, if you want a little bit extra, you can cross so that top foot is going underneath. Just intensify the supine twist. Or if you want to keep it easy, just stay right here. Bring your knees up through center. Lower down to the opposite side. Head turns the other way. Maybe closing your eyes here. Allowing everything to slow down. Allowing yourself to soften. Bring your knees up to center. Bring yourself into a tiny little ball. Bring your forehead up to your knees. Big breath in. Exhale, slowly release it all out. So maybe moving around the flesh in your glutes to make more surface space. Maybe the shoulders are expanded out with palms facing up. Any other fidgets or wiggles you need to do to get anything out, to get yourself ready for a few moments of stillness. So can you allow yourself to soften here? In the beginning of class, we scanned through our body. So let's go ahead and do that one more time. From the crown of our head down to our tippy toes, just checking up on our body. What does it feel? How does it feel as compared to when we started? Is there anything that's a little tense? Is there anything that's happening in our mind that's maybe on repeat? What would it look like if that stopped? If there was stillness? What would it look like if you could completely and utterly just relax? Find some calm. Let's see if we can make that happen in the next few moments. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, bring some movement back to your joints. Inhale your hands up overhead, big breath. Exhale, bring those knees into your chest. Roll over to the side. Stay here for just a second. So here in fetal pose. Tell yourself something kind, something gentle. Breathe it in and let go of anything you don't need. Slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. If you'd like, you could grab your blanket. Go ahead and sit on it. Cross-legged position here. Finding a really long spine. So imagine there's a string pulling you up. Bring your hands up to heart center. Big breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale to let. Exhale, go. I hope this practice served you well today. I hope you were able to let go of anything you didn't need. Have a great night. Namaste. Thank you so much.